All right, guys, I'm back. I didn't expect to be back this quick, but yeah, there are 2 games tonight. I apologize. I don't know how I missed that. I've been kind of a little bit scattered this weekend, but so here's what I did. I already put out a video thinking that the only game tonight was the Texans and the Buccaneers, when there was another killer game tonight. Chargers versus the Raiders is a great game. So we have a doubleheader. So what I did, instead of putting together another different video on my other channel and stuff, I figure the mistake was made on here. So I'm actually covering in this video just the Chargers and the Raiders game. So there's already a video out for the Bucks versus the Texans. So now we've got 2 different videos for each game tonight is what we're ending up at. So a quick recap of Sunday's picks, which I told you I've been kind of out of it all weekend. I took Baker thinking he was playing Sunday, but every other play in that video cashed. Brian Thomas Jr. over 8.5 targets, Christian McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions, Jackson Smith and Jigba over 67.5 receiving yards, and we're just waiting on Baker tonight to get over 15.5 rushing yards. So let's talk about the picks that we're going to be taking in this Chargers-Raiders game, because I love the value. There's like a ton of value, even more than these 4 that I narrowed it down to. But for the video, I'm going to be going Quentin Johnston over 9.5 fantasy score. Going to go Justin Herbert rushing yards over 18.5. Jakobi Meyers over 63.5 receiving yards, and Thornton, probably saying his name wrong, but the rookie wide receiver for the Raiders, over 27.5 receiving yards. We are running a special for our Discord right now, end of summer, going until September 22nd, which is the last day of summer. Or maybe the first day of fall. Yeah, I think the 21st is the last day of summer. But this deal is going until the 22nd. 50% off of our premium Discord when you use code SUMMER. So that information is down below. You sign up through Patreon, and then I also attached a link to the server itself. If the Patreon doesn't directly link you, just come back to the video and go through the server. And once you're signed up with Patreon, you should be good to go. All right, so Underdog, play $5, get 50 in bonus funds when you use code BACKDOOR. That is down below as well. All this stuff is down below. But yeah, Underdog, really killer platform. Excited to be a partner of theirs. If you have not played streaks yet, it's a lot of fun. You pick 2 plays. If they cash, you can cash out right then, or you can keep adding 1 play at a time and keep stacking your multiplier all the way up to like, I think 11 picks. You can get your multiplier up to like 1000x one at a time. So you don't have to like try to make a big slip on one slate. So it's a lot of fun. Give it a try. There's something really fun about knowing that you already are in the green and then you only have to add 1 more solid pick. It's really a great time. I like doing that on the side because it's like you can't just do a bunch of those in one day, you know. I mean, I guess you can if you started early and you were being really careful, but it's kind of fun while I'm doing these other plays. I always got my streaks going, kind of always have a streak slip going at any given moment. So go check it out. Code BACKDOOR will get you that $50 in bonus funds. And then Chalkboard, another killer platform. You get free $20. Go check this out. Code BACKDOOR. Use our code. No deposit required. Just go give it a shot. $20. You can use it tonight if you want. So let's get into these plays. And again, if you want plays from the Bucks Texans game, I did the whole breakdown. I thought that was the only game. So you can go check that out. I'll attach it at the end of this video. So Chargers versus Raiders, 46.5 over under for the game total, and 3.5 point spread favoring the Chargers. I think this is going to be a fun shootout. The way the Chargers looked against Kansas City last week was just awesome. If you guys watched that game, it was so exciting, and Justin Herbert played great. Everybody looked great. Keenan was just dominant. He led the team in target share and had like 10 targets. So Justin Herbert was just flinging it. Everyone was expecting a heavy run game, and their offense looked absolutely electric. So I'm excited for this matchup against the Raiders here. So let's start with Herbert. So the rushing, it's at 18.5. It opened at 17.5, but I still like the 18.5. He went for 32 against Kansas City. and he actually had 7 rush attempts. So with all this passing, it's stretching the field, and he can actually get into a little bit of option play with the rookie, who again, I need like Alpha Brain or something because I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, Herbert is a lot more athletic than he gets credit for. He's actually pretty fast, kind of sneaky. You know, he's not quite the statue quarterback. He's not like Joe Burrow, but he's not Lamar Jackson either. You know, he's not Jaden Daniels, but he's fast enough, kind of like a little bit faster than Baker, but the same reason I like Baker. I like Herbert, but I think Herbert's a little bit faster, and he's got a healthier offense that he can really actually just produce. There's so many weapons that they're able to throw at their opponents right now. So I think that he'll be grabbing these yards tonight, in my opinion. I actually like just about every rushing prop tonight. For quarterbacks. So I was thinking about making a slip with just all 4 of them because the lines are so low. 18.5. That's just, if he's just trying to pick up a first down here and there, you know, let alone a designed run play, probably won't see much of that, but just picking up first downs, like, you know, a play just opens up, you know, and he's like, I can just go get the first down myself. Not to mention, like, if he's trying to evade a tackle and a little bit of scrambling turns into just an actual gain for like 6 or 7 yards. So I like Herbert to be able to get that done. Let's take a look at Daily Grind and see what they think about this rushing prop, and we'll look at other plays too. So they like a lot of Herbert tonight. They like his pass completions over 22.5. Sounds great to me too. 52.43% odds to hit the over -128. They like this Geno Smith, Justin Herbert combo over 497.5 combined passing yards. Longest rush, they like his longest rush over 9.5. Do they like the rushing yards alone then? Look at this. Just Herbert. Just all overs. They don't like the rushing yards, even at 17.5. Did I lock it in at 18.5? I thought I got it at 18.5. But yeah, 17.5, they're not feeling. So go with your gut. I'm gonna be taking it. Yeah, a bunch of maybe I did get it at 17.5. I don't want to switch between screens right now to double check, but either way, 18.5, 17.5, I feel fine with it. Yeah, we've got some platforms having it at 16.5, so that's why the DFS optimizer here from Daily Grind isn't liking the 17.5. It's just saying, and I mean, it's only a 50.1% odds to hit the under, but it's just recognizing like, hey, a bunch of other platforms have this at 16.5, so that, you know, it's just kind of saying I got to favor the under here since this is higher. But yeah, you have plenty of options here for Herbert if you don't want to take the rushing yards. But what did we say? He went for 32. He had 7 rush attempts. So I think that if he had 7 last week against Kansas City, while their offense looks electric, I think he'll be able to get some easy yards here. And I know that the Raiders are tough. They're 4th in rushing yards allowed in general, and then 9th to quarterbacks. So a little bit of a softer spot to quarterbacks in particular, but I get it, but I'm going to be taking it. So go with your gut. You have plenty of options from my videos tonight. So Quentin Johnston, this dude he was kind of figuring things out at the end of last season. He was kind of a bust, you know, in his rookie year. Dude was having trouble just holding on to the ball, and he had fallen out of favor quite a bit. Towards the end of last year, he really started to flash some big play upside. And it looks like this year to start, it's been great so far because he was a good prospect. You know, this dude was supposed to be one of the better wide receivers, you know, as far as like rookie, sophomore, like they had high expectations and it didn't work out. So people kind of went cold on the guy, but he's got the athletics and he's been really showing up and they've been utilizing him. Here's one thing I really want to show you why I want fantasy score. Like, so he put up 79 yards against Kansas City last week. Target share, 19% target share in that game. Let's just do this. Let's go straight to 2025. 19% target share. And let's see, here's what I'm really excited about. So if you look at the target share, Keenan, I told you guys they were just balling last week. Keenan was producing. Keenan had 29.4% target share last week. Ladd McConkey 26.5, and Quentin Johnston still had 20.6. That's a totally respectable share. It was like you see it's clearly defined. It's these three, and then it's Omarion Hampton was next. That's who I was couldn't think of earlier. So they targeted the running backs and the tight ends about the same, and then you got Trey Harris way down here at 2.9. So obviously, Quentin Johnston has the wide receiver 3 spot locked in, but Herbert was just distributing the ball. But here's why I want the fantasy score. You go to red zone target share, and they went to him twice, and he got both touchdowns, 66%. So, I mean, I know that it's like a small sample size, but I think that they like using the bigger bodied wide receivers in the red zone looks. So I expect him to grab a touchdown tonight. And so I want that fantasy score at just 9.5. I'll be taking that all day because he got in the end zone twice last week. Not saying that it's a guarantee, but if you take a look here, the matchup overall, the Raiders 27th in receiving yards allowed, 24th to wide receivers. If we take a look at, actually, I don't think they break down the, so, all right. They're pretty solid, allowing touchdowns to wide receivers. So keep that in mind. It's only a 1-game sample size, but, they're ranked 10th, wide receivers touchdowns, and then overall, second in, touchdowns in general. So keep that in mind, but this is a low line. He doesn't have to get in the end zone to cash this for us. So I'm loving this play. Let's take a look. Still can't believe I thought there was only 1 game tonight. Oh my gosh. I need some more coffee. Is it Queen? Quin? It is Quen. Okay. So they like, this is good. Yeah. Jakobi Meyers and Quentin Johnston, a rushing receiving touchdown combo over 0.5. They like that as the best play for this game. That includes Quentin Johnston, 53.27% odds to hit the over. They like his receptions over 3.5. That is solid. They like his receiving yards over. They do like the fantasy score over. So yeah, the Chargers, that's why when I realized this game was time, like, you guys, this game has a lot of value. I wish I would have known and just made a video the first time around, but this way you're getting 8 picks. So maybe it all worked out for everybody. They also, so they don't like the longest reception. Yeah, fantasy score, receiving yards, receptions in this combo do seem really solid. I like the fantasy score because you're kind of getting all of that in one, but go with your gut. We'll keep it moving. I'll try not to make this video too long. So Jakobi Meyers. So this is a good matchup. And Jakobi Meyers has been going under the radar for a long time. He's been very talented back with the Patriots, and he just never really had a decent situation. Then, he goes to the Raiders. He's got Aiden O'Connell and just kind of all these scrubs, throwing him the ball. But he was still kind of producing. But in this case, he has Geno Smith now. And Geno Smith, if you guys remember what he was doing with Jackson Smith and Jigba last year, JSN was popping off and Geno was targeting him heavy. And I think that this is the role that Jakobi Meyers plays for the Raiders as the wide receiver 1. Obviously, Brock Bowers is playing, which is actually going to help us with this Jakobi Meyers. Brock was like a little bit banged up, and we're kind of uncertain if he was going to play week 2. And he ended up making it to practice, and I think he's fully good to go for tonight. But if you look at this target share, it's respectable. So let's go do this again on Outlier. Going to go to 2025. So he had 97 yards last week against New England, who's looked a little shaky. So it's not like super impressive, but it's still great output. He had 10 targets last week, 26% target share. If we get down here. So yeah, you've got Jakobi Meyers, so he had a 30% target share overall. And then Brock Bowers down at 24. And then there's Deontay Thornton, who's Dante Thornton, my bad. 12%. So respectable. Michael Mayer. I also kind of like Michael Mayer because Brock Bowers, I think, he is super talented. Dude's absolutely elite, but he draws a lot of attention. People kind of think of him as the wide receiver 1. That's if you can, take Brock out of the game, which the Chargers actually did a pretty good job of that last year, both times that they played. They kept him like around 50 yards, and his production was just a little bit more tough. And then if you think about last week, if you think about that game against the Chiefs, neither of their tight ends could really get much. Like they were really stingy, not allowing any soft spots there. So I like Jakobi for that reason. I think Brock will get his, but he's also not 100%. And they also have Michael Mayer mixing in a little bit. They'll run some like 2 tight end sets sometimes, but overall, I think that this is going to be a wide receiver output type of game. If we look at the matchup, receiving yards allowed 28th to wide receivers, and then 24th overall receiving yards allowed. So this could be a beautiful shootout for us tonight, guys. So I'm excited about it. Let's take a look at daily grind real quick. Meyers. Okay, so there's that TD that they like, and then the receiving yards over is the next play that they're calling their second favorite. 63.5. They have it at 52.48% odds to the over -127. A lot of platforms with mixed emotions on that. That's pretty wild. So Pinnacle has it at 59.5, and then FanDuel 67. We're getting at 63, kind of right in the middle there. So yeah, this line's kind of all over the board here. This receiving yards combo, they like that. Keenan and Meyers over 116.5. If you wanted to take that, 52.47% odds hit the over. They like his fantasy score over 13.5. And that's about it for the overs. They're not feeling the longest reception for him. So yeah, let's wrap it up here with the rookie. All right, so he had 45 yards last week. And then let's see. Let's look at this target share. Yeah, so 11%, but we're looking down here. It says 12.1. So he had 4 targets, but he doesn't really need that many targets to get us over this 27.5. His average yards per reception was 22.5. So he is kind of like, more of a stretch the field type of guy. His longest reception last week was 36. So he could be crushing this line on 1 catch. So I'm not expecting a ton of volume here. He caught 50% of his targets, so he had 2 catches and turned that into 45 yards. So I expect something a little similar tonight, probably 2 or 3 catches maybe. But it just depends on the nature of the game, because you have this explosive offense this week. New England kind of off to a little bit of a bumpy start. As far as, I mean, they don't look terrible, but I think that people were really hyped for Vrabel, taking over there, and thought that this was going to be a real breakout type of year for these guys. So just like they weren't pushing. What did that game end up being? Yeah, 20-13. This over under is already what was it at 46.5? Yeah, so they're expecting this to be higher scoring, which means more volume, more plays. I'd like to see him get like 3 or 4 receptions maybe tonight, especially with that soft matchup, 24th overall and 28th in receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. So I think he just needs a few catches, and we know that overall he's right behind Brock Bowers. Him and Michael Mayer are right there, but I think that it's going to be tougher, like I said, at the tight end position. So I like Thornton, I like Meyers, both to do well with a lot of their types of lines, but receiving yards especially. Is it Thornton or Thornton? Thornton. Okay. All right. So they're not feeling the receiving yards. They're not feeling a lot of his stuff. They don't like the fantasy score over 6.5. They don't like the longest reception. So go with your gut. Let's see. The receiving yards, they have it favored to the under, 51.04% odds to hit the under, -121. And BetMGM has it at 25.5, but most of them are at 27.5. So, yeah, I think the optimizer here is just seeing like, a lot of these are kind of 50-50 shots, not like a lot of juice to the under, but Pinnacle -119 to go under. So yeah, go with your gut. 4 targets isn't something super exciting that he got in week 1, but I expect that maybe to be 5 or 6 tonight. If he can come down with a couple of them, I think he's going to get us probably over 30 yards is my guess. But again, plenty of other plays for you guys to choose from. I put out 8 altogether today. So here's some extra plays from the optimizer. So they like this combo, Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton, over 122.5 total rushing yards together, combo. 53.96% odds to hit the over. So a lot of juice on that one. They're not liking Nico Collins' receptions. I don't take unders for football because they penalize you with the multiplier on Prizepicks, but I mean, yeah, who else are they going to be focusing on? So I totally get that defensively. So here's a Bowers, Ladd McConkey, under 129.5 receiving yards. Actually, again, I don't take unders, but this makes sense to me because Ladd is kind of sharing the spotlight with a lot more people now with Keenan there, and we know Quentin is actually still getting his fair share of targets there. So the main thing is I'm not loving Brock Bowers' matchup tonight against the Chargers. Fantasy score under for Brock. They like that to go under. Baker, they're not feeling his longest rush over 9.5. Oh yeah, and I had some comments asking me about the Baker pick because since all 3 hit and we're waiting on Baker, I get it. The O-line is kind of, not at 100% right now. And I actually talked about that when I took it. I feel like the extra pressure there is going to give him some more situations where he's going to have to like evade the pocket, from the pressure and maybe have to try to turn it into a net gain. So I think what it comes down to is for Baker is me just thinking that he is either going to be throwing the ball away if it looks like he's going to be losing yards, or he will pick up a few here and there, maybe break one off. I got the line at 15.5. I think it's up to 16.5. I'll still be taking it on some slips at 16.5. I'll probably be just rolling the dice on a demon, maybe 19.5 if they've got that, or 24.5. Those are just YOLO slips though, where I put like $1 or $2 on it and try to get my multiplier up super high, like 300x, 250x. I like doing stuff like that. Sometimes just throw $1 on it. It's not anything I'm putting a big bankroll on. So Nick Chubb, we talked about this in the last video, the rush attempts. They like him to go over 13, 52.81% odds to hit the over. Keenan Allen. So shout out to Guru in our Discord. He and I have been kind of taking a lot of target plays, at least yesterday we were. I've been really liking that they're giving us so many options on Prizepicks for just taking receiving targets. So he liked the receiving targets. I think it was over 7. And I like that too. I would take that over the receptions at 5. But I think overall I probably would just take his fantasy score if I took Keenan. Because I think that he's right up there with Quentin with getting the red zone looks. And he's got a soft matchup tonight. But he did lead the team in targets last week, so you'd have to get to the 8 targets in order to cash that 7 or push at 7. But yeah, I agree that it could. There's 2 ways it can go. It can go like he doesn't hit his receptions, but he does hit his targets. He could obviously cash both of those as well, but it could also be the type of thing where he pulls down, like 5 or 6 receptions because he has a really good, efficient night catching the ball, but the volume isn't there. So it's kind of iffy, but I think the targets will be there as well. So yeah, that receiving targets did look good. Guru, you're asking me about that earlier. Ashton Genty, they like him over 64.5 rushing yards, 52.56% odds to the over, -128. There's that Jakobi Meyers receiving yards. And let's see. Any more overs? The Justin Herbert pass completions, we talked about that. Yeah, I mean, that kind of does it. They like Jakobi's fantasy score as well. We already talked about that, but I'm going to get out of here, guys. I wasn't planning on doing 2 videos today, but I wasn't going to leave you guys hanging with just like half of the slate. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys don't mind, do me a favor, like the video, drop me a comment. And they added this new thing where once you like, you can hype a video for small creators. And if you guys don't mind hyping the video, I appreciate it. They say that it just puts me in front of a larger audience. So it's a pretty cool feature that YouTube added for small creators. So guys, enjoy this doubleheader slate. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get the week started off right. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next one.